Hello gorgeous, thank you for joining me today in this video. I am trying out the new BH Cosmetics palette. Well, they're not new for you, they're new for me. The Sweet Shoppe palettes. I've got the Pistachio and the Orange Sorbet, and you can see the look I'm creating here on my face. I couldn't decide whether to go green or go orange, so I did both. So if you want to see how I created these looks and what the shades were like working with, then hang around, we'll get into the tutorial now. So I got these two in the mail. I ordered mine from Germany and they arrived faster than I expected to be honest. I think shipping took about 5-6 days. So this is what the orange one looks like. You do get a mirror behind here, but I wanted to cover it up. And this is what the green looks like. I was really drawn to these two especially because they are fairly unique in my collection. So that's why I went for these two rather than any of the others. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I wasn't tempted to get the others, because the only thing stopped me is my wallet, basically. First I thought I definitely want to do an orange look. And then I thought I definitely want to do a green look. So the best I can come up with at the moment is to just do one eye each. Do a similar look but in different colours of course, and just go full Harley Quinn with it. I'm not going out, I can look however clownish I want. I'm going to start with the green eye, and I'm quite drawn to these colours down here, and of course the dark matte and all of the shimmers. I can't even begin to tell you how much I love shimmers. If it glitters, I go mad for it. I've started by priming my eyelids with my No7 primer, and I'm going to start with the colour Guilty Pleasure. You know, I did a little bit of a false start because I was so excited to get into the palette that I actually started without my primer on. So I had to wipe that off, prime, and then go back in. It feels a lot more pigmented now that I've actually primed my eyes properly, like an idiot. And it's so weird now that things have started opening up here in the UK again. I'm a little bit sort of in two minds about going out still. I've had my first shot of the vaccine, so that's not really the issue. But I think I've just gotten stuck in this mindset of staying at home. So I know I kind of have to force myself to go out and actually do those things, but at the same time, I just don't have the energy or the will to. And can I just say, this shade, Guilty Pleasure, it's bright. I'm not sure how it's going to come off on camera, but wow, that is like neon green. I'm going to go in the inner half of the crease with the shade Soft Serve. And this one leans a little bit more yellow. It's like a very, I want to say an appley green. It's very, very light. I'm just going to use a little bit of that Soft Serve along this edge as well to just blend it a little bit. But like I've been going out a little bit more lately. Like I went to the gym this morning. It's the second time I've been back to the gym in ages. It's been ages. I really needed to get back, so I went first time about a week ago. Second time this morning, and there's signs on the door saying please wear masks, and nobody does. At least this time the staff were wearing masks, but none of the people working out, so I'm the only one there sitting with my mask on, and I feel a little bit like an idiot, but at least I'm a slightly safer idiot, so I'm absolutely fine with that. I have to say, this is so pigmented. The formula seems to be a tiny little bit on the dry side. It does have a little bit of kick up in the pan. I'm not too bothered about that. You can see I don't really have any fallout. You can't tell me that those two colours aren't blending together nicely. I mean, my blending isn't perfect by far, like by a country mile, but it has been getting so much better, and I can see a steady improvement from when I first started getting back into makeup. I'm going to go into Cone or Cup, the dark green matte, and I'm going to deepen up the outer corner a little bit. That just blends in nicely. I like to take deeper shadows up and through the crease a little bit as well. I don't know why, I like a defined crease. But yeah, like I was saying about getting back into makeup, I'm going back and forth a little bit between Conal Cup and Guilty Pleasure, that first sort of neon-y green, just so I can blend them two here. But I've been playing around with makeup ever since I was little. I remember going into Mum's bathroom cupboard and taking out she had a bronzer. It was like a little round container with a lid that you popped up, and it had gold text on it, and I think it was called Indian Summer. It would have been, what, mid-90s? It was just like a powder bronzer. But that kind of introduced me to the idea. But then when I grew up, kind of hung out with a more gothy or punk rocky kind of crowd, and I adapted a little bit of those influences. So my makeup was basically just casual pens. As much black as I could get on my eyes. Not like I did a smoky eye or anything like that. I wasn't that talented. Just a winged eyeliner. I went through this phase as well where I would use Kajal pen and just draw a line from my eye and down onto my cheek. And then you smudged it with your fingers to... I guess the idea was to make it look like you were crying. And yeah, that was my look for a good long while there in upper secondary schools. I would have been like 15, 16. I'm going to show you at some point, if I can find it, my first eyeshadow palette. Maybe I bought it in like 2007? It was this tiny little palette and it had 4 shades in there. 3 of them were a gradient from like a beige to a deep brown, and 1 was a highlight shimmer for the inner corner. And it was like this one trick pony. It told you on the back how to apply it, and it just taught me this gradient of light in the inner corner and then gradually making it a little bit darker and doing the outer like V. That's how I started with makeup. If I was wearing any makeup in my day-to-day life, it was usually a little bit of Kajal pen for an eyeliner and then a bit of mascara, and that was it. That was about as fancy as I went day to day. If I was going out, I would do the full gradient with the brown and just do a neutral eye, and that was it. And to be honest, I really liked it. I thought that was enough, but then it stopped being enough. And here I am, looking like Shrek. But we're good, we're good. Like, maybe it's just me, but I feel like it's starting to lift a little bit here in the outer corner. I'm just going to pack that in. I don't want to blend too much because I don't want to lift it off again. I have started noticing with the darker shade, with the Conal Cup, I am getting a little bit of fallout, but that is fine because I always do my eyes before I do the rest of my face anyway, so I can always clean it up. Now I want to get into the shimmers, so I'm going to do a half cut crease. I've got my Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Concealer, and I don't want to go in straight onto the lid because I've got a load of shades on there already. So I'm just going to put a little smidge on the back of my hand, and I go in from there and just take the concealer off. If I feel like I put a little bit too much product on the brush itself, I will start sort of in the middle, and then once I've wiped it off a little bit, I go out and I start on the actual line. And I know some girls can do a cut crease and talk at the same time, but I am not one of those girls. At least not yet. Maybe I will be someday, who knows. And I'm just going to use my finger to diffuse that edge. I mean, I'm going to go back over this with some more of that dark green anyway. So now I'm going to go into the darkest shimmer, which is called Crunch. I'm going to start right out here. I mean, it's a pretty shimmer, but it doesn't quite pack the punch that it does in the pan. So I'm going to just give that a spray. There we go. That looks so much better. That finally picked up. And this shimmer has a really dark base as well, so that would make an amazing smoky eye. We're going to continue with the shimmer Treat. I'm just going to spray that from the start, just to make sure. This one leans a little bit blue, which I really like. It blends quite nicely because you really get a nice gradient from the darker shimmer to the lighter one. And then we're going to make a little jump in the palette. Because I've got the shade Soft Serve in the inner corner, I'm going to go into the shimmer Sweet Life. Because that shimmer Sweet Life leans a little bit more yellow. Oh yeah, there we go, that packs a punch. I could feel a little bit of fallout with that one. It has a little bit more of a flaky texture, I think. But once it goes on the eye and you work it in, you're left with this beautiful, gorgeous shimmer. The texture of that last shimmer as well, Sweet Life, it felt a little bit more buttery, a little bit softer, creamier. Let me just make sure that we've got a nice little blend going on back here. I'll finish off the eyes together once I have the orange on. I'm just going to go in and do the lower lid as well. I'm starting off with that shade Guilty Pleasure, just like I did on the top. I'm then going to use Soft Serve in the inner part and just marry those two together, just to mirror what I've done on the upper lid. And then finish off with a bit of Kernel Cup. I've now got sparkly eye bags as well because it's fallen down and spread like that because I've tried to wipe it off. But I mean, sparkly eye bags might be a thing. So we are ready. I'm going to go in with Zest first. And of course I primed my eye the exact same way as I did the first one. And this eye I actually remembered to prime before I started. Yeah, I'm not half as stupid as I look right now. This shade, Zest, doesn't come off as neon-y as the green one does. I mean, it's not necessarily meant to come off as a neon shade, but it might be a little bit more usable for a wider variety of people in that case, because not everybody wants a neon eye look. I'm going into the inner part of that crease with the shade Tangerine, and that is definitely tangerine. But what feels nice about these colours is that they are of course all different, but they're all close enough that they marry really nicely together. I mean, orange and orange is always going to melt together quite nicely, but can you honestly tell me where one ends and the other begins? Because I can't, and I'm sitting here seeing them live. Let me just wipe off. This is one of my issues. I get carried away trying to blend things while I'm applying pigment. So I keep applying pigment a little bit too high up and I end up having an eye look that reaches into my eyebrows. And to be fair, I don't have the most estate on my eyelids anyway. I mean, they're getting a little bit droopy. I'm in my I nearly said my mid-60s. What am I playing at? I'm in my mid-30s. So what I'm trying to say is everything starts sagging a little bit. Nothing looks as good as it did 10 years ago. But that doesn't mean it's bad, it's just different. But it also means that maybe I need to start planning out my looks a little bit differently, or reining my enthusiasm in a little bit, because I'm quite happy with that crease now. What I want to do next is I'm going to go into the darkest orange, not the darkest colour in the palette because that's a brown, and I want to keep this all orange because why the hell not? Live a little bit, have an orange eye. This is the shade Extra Toppings, but it's nice. The only thing that I would maybe complement this palette with, I wouldn't necessarily change this palette because I think these palettes are pretty brilliant as they are, because obviously they work as standalone palettes. Exhibit A. Also, you can use them as companion palettes. It doesn't have to have everything in it. But what I'm thinking is, if I use Red Giant, the shade in Angelica's palette with Kaleidos, using that red shade and these oranges, I think you could make such a kick-ass, and I cannot believe I'm using the phrase kick-ass, but I think you could make just the most kick-ass sunset eye. I think it would be so pretty. I've got little notes sort of dotted out all around the place here. I mean, I'm working from home at the moment, so I sit here right where I do my filming when I work as well. You know, when you're in a meeting and maybe your mind drifts off a little bit and you think, do you know what? I think this would make for an excellent makeup look. And I just jot it down, and I keep losing these flipping pieces of paper. I don't know where they are. I've got a couple of ideas that I want to try out. I think I'm missing one or two things that I need in order to get that done. But the BH Cosmetics and Angelica Sunset look is definitely one of those. And see, I don't feel like I'm getting any lifting with this palette with the orange shades. But again, that might be because of lighting. Because of course I've got a ring light. I'm a basic bitch. What do you expect from me? I'm sitting slightly sort of turned away from it, so it hits me differently on this side than it does on this side. It might be that the light is a little bit stronger and that's why I think I've got lifting on that side, or it might be that the light is not strong enough on this side, so I can't see properly if I have any lifting. But it looks good either way. I like it. We are going back in with the same half cut crease on this eye. So let's get into the shimmers on the orange side as well. I'm going to just spray these straight away. And this is the shade Tangy. This is the darkest shimmer in the orange palette. I want more. I need more. This is a super pretty shimmer. I really like the colour of this because it has a very sort of goldeny undertone. It's a little bit of a subtle... I mean, it's not necessarily subtle, but it's not like an in-your-face shimmer. It's not molten magma on your face kind of intensity. God, that would be intense. We are then going into the shade, I don't know how they want me to pronounce it. I'm going to say citron because that's how we pronounce it in Swedish. It means lemon. Do you see how golden that is? I love that. Add in more. Yeah, I'm gonna say hands down, that is my favourite shimmer in this palette. That is freaking gorgeous. Do you know what it reminds me of? You know these proper like Dupioni silks with the colour shift? That's what it looks like. Between a really striking like true gold and a little bit of a, I kind of want to say like a muted orange, because it's not neon-y, but it's so striking. I love that. That is just hands down my absolute favourite shade. So we're going to go into the last one now, and that one is called Yum. This one is a little bit more understated. It's not super glittery or sparkly or anything like that. It's a really pretty shade, and it's nice to have a lighter shimmer in there. But yeah, Citron, hands down, favourite shade. Let's go in with Extra Toppings one more time in the outer corner. And I'll do the same as on the green eye. Just start with Zest, Tangerine. I didn't have any fallout at all, I don't think, with the orange shades. It just sits on my eye beautifully. It's staying where I've put it. So I'll go off camera and finish off the rest of my eyes, and we are coming back to finish off the look. I am back. I've finished off the rest of my eyes. I've also done most of my complexion products. I've got my foundation on, I've done a little bit of contouring and some light bronzing, and I've spent way too much time trying to find a lipstick that would go with both eyes. I finally settled on this one, Teosin, in shade number 3. And I wanted to finish off my face with the ColourPop Cheek Dew, the serum blush. I've got this in 2 shades. One is quite like a deep winey kind of red, and the second one is this more orange leaning. This is called So Cosmo. I have dry skin, so I like any sort of complexion products that give me a little bit of glow and a little bit of hydration. So I really liked it when they came out with these serum blushes. What I do is I press them out on my hand, and this is way too much. I'm not going to need that much. Dip my finger in a little bit so I get some on my finger, and then you can see I just apply a little bit and we'll go in and keep bouncing that finger just to sort of spread it and fade out those edges. And they are buildable, so I would say go in light to begin with and build it up. But they do leave you with a little bit of a glow, which I like. If you watch Amanda over at Makeup Just for Fun, she likes to say that she aims for a casually sweaty look, and I quite like that. To be honest, a casually sweaty cheek is exactly why I like the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid foundation, because even though it looks quite matte now when I've only just applied it a little while ago, as it sits on the skin over the course of the day, warming up and sort of ends up looking really glowy. So the longer you wear it, the glowier it looks. One day I was sat here on the sofa, it was like hour 7 of wearing the foundation, and my fiance came in, he was like, "Are you warm?" And I was like, "No, why?" And he was like, "Well, you look kind of shiny." Yes, casually sweaty. And on the inside I was like, I wish Amanda could see me now. For highlighter, I'm going to go in with Kiko Milano. This is from their holiday collection last year, I think. I just bought it a couple of weeks ago. I got it on sale. This is Holiday Gems in number 2, Shimmering Stardust. And if you don't like a glittery highlighter, this is not really for you. It has a really nice golden sheen, but I think it has a little bit of glitter in it, maybe. Do you know what I just realised? This would have been the perfect look to use my Kaleidos highlighter. So I'm just going to run off and get that, and we are going absolutely ham on the highlighters. I don't care. They can see me from space. Right, here we are. The Space Age Prophecy. It looks deceptively just like white powder. And we are just going in over the Kaleidos highlighter because we are going to contact the International Space Station with these cheeks. That is next level shiny. When the sunlight from outside hits this side of my face, I can just see this green, sort of yellowy green cast here from the highlighter. And then in the light I get from the ring light, which I have in front of me, it looks like a warm golden tone. So lovely. Right, so there we are. That's the finished looks. Looks? It's the same look, but it's not the same look. You get what I mean. I'm super happy with how this has turned out. I really found that the shadows were quite easy to work with. For somebody who's not an expert in blending like me, I mean, you can see the kind of result I managed to get. If you're on my level or even better, it's going to be a piece of cake. So if you've got your eye on these and you haven't picked them up yet, I can recommend it. Absolutely go for it. I might pick up maybe the pink one or the red one or the blue one. But I liked these two, especially these two, because they have a little bit of a colour scheme that I don't really have a lot of. So I feel like they've actually brought something to my collection and something that I can use again and again. They are only €20 per palette, and then with shipping I paid a total of €49 I think. But that was paying the taxes for the UK as well, so they didn't get stuck in customs, and that's why it was so quick to ship. All in all, I'm really happy with the formula, and this is the new BH formula. I haven't tried it before. I've got one of their old palettes, the Aurora Lights, I think it's called. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in another video, because I want to show you what my collection is at this point. It's not a big collection. Like, you see some people do these huge collection videos and they've got like 200 palettes sitting around. Hey, I haven't. I've only just got into this game. I've got more of a, maybe a manageable collection, but it will be an upcoming video. But these so far are an excellent addition to my collection, so I'm super happy with these. I'm going to play around with them some more in the next few days. It's going to be great. So if you want to see more from me, just stick around, chat about some makeup, do some chill videos, maybe some other creative stuff as well. Click the subscribe button and ring the little bell so you get notifications when I post. At the moment I'm a little bit slow with posting because I'm learning how to edit, and it's quite a steep hill actually. But I'm sticking in there and there's lots more to come, so I hope you join me for that. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!